So, welcome back. Before the break, we discussed about naturalism and its relationship to realism in Quebec writing, and we come to know that there are the basic features. For example, realism in philosophy observes and depicts life as it is, and in naturalism, the philosophy is it believes humans are shaped by fate, heredity, and environment. Same goes to characters, plot, style, and themes, where in realism, everyday people with personal agency, whereas in naturalism, characters often struggle against forces beyond their control. So, after discussing the important differences between realism and naturalism, it is important to address how is realism important in Quebec writing. Realism emerged in Quebec literature in the late 19th century, depicting rural life, Catholic traditions, and family structures. The goal was to present everyday experiences without romanticizing or dramatizing them. How realism influenced Quebec literature is again, we have to focus in detail on the faithful depictions on life in Quebec. As Quebec society evolved, realism gave way to naturalism, which maintained the objective approach of realism but with a stronger focus on fate, suffering, and determinism. Both realism and naturalism continue to influence modern Quebec literature. Some writers use realism to capture everyday life, while others adopt naturalist themes to explore societal constraints and human suffering. Realism and naturalism in Quebec writing are interconnected. While realism documents life as it is, naturalism emphasizes the external forces that shape human existence. Together, they have shaped Quebec literary identity, allowing writers to explore both individual agency and the constraints imposed by society, nature, and fate. Now, moving to the questions of um, the next unit. Uh, Moving to the next question. Gabriel Roy's life and works under Team Flute. What is Gabriel Roy's contribution to French Canadian writing? Uh, to to understand this question, we need to understand first that um, Gabriel Roy has been one of the most influential French Canadian writers, and his realistic, deeply humanistic portrayals of ordinary people had been her contribution to French Canadian writing, especially at the working classes. Her works blend social realism, psychological depth, and lyrical prose, making her a foundational figure in Quebec and Canadian literature. Before Gabriel Roy's, much of French Canadian literary work was rural, Catholic, and traditional, dominated by themes of land, family, and faith. Roy, however, shifted the focus to urban life, portraying the struggles of working class and immigrant communities with deep empathy. Tin Flute, for example, it was a groundbreaking novel about poverty in Montreal's working class neighborhood of Saint Henry during World War II. The Impact won Governor General's Award and became a literary sensation, helping French Canadian literature reach a wider audience. Roy was one of the most first Quebec authors to gain international recognition and appeal to both French and English audiences. Her works were translated and widely read across Canada, the US, and the Europe. Roy's novels often feature strong female protagonists who struggle with independence, societal expectations, and personal dreams. While not overtly feminist, her work subtly critiques traditional gender roles and explores the inner lives of women. So these are some of the contributions, and with this we complete um, unit 14. We completed Gabriel Roy life and works. We focused on some of his works, and we discussed on the what place Gabriel Roy holds in the history of French Canadian literature. And here we are done with unit 14. Tomorrow we discuss unit 15, and then we proceed to study more about the tin flute structure and theme. And we also try to complete unit 16. So thank you. Have a good evening.